fan has had at least one experience of feeling out of place when compared with quote-unquote mainstream society, but I don't think there's ever been a really good attempt to understand why it is that people like horror. Like, most horror fans are generally normal people who have pretty good reasons for enjoying horror, but what are those reasons? The real reasons, not the ones that they learn to tell people to make society leave them alone. That's what our podcast is about, interviewing people in the horror biz to find out what it is about horror that makes them happy. My name's Steven. I'm a bit of a psychology buff, and my co-host is my friend Chris, who's a bit of a horror buff, and so far we've interviewed about 90 people in the biz and had a lot of fun with it. In this set of excerpts, we're just going to share some of the fun stuff, but if you want to hear the real meat of the conversations, come check us out on Apple, Google, Spotify, or you can just use the player on our website. In this set of excerpts, we're talking to Becky Spratford, Chris Sarandon, and McLeod Chapman. Becky is a librarian out of Chicago that works with the Horror Writers Association. Chris Sarandon is known for his work with Fright Night, Child's Play. He's the voice of Jack Skellington. You probably also know him from Princess Bride. And McLeod Chapman is the author of Ghost Eaters, The Remaking, and a couple of Venom and Creepshow comics. Did you participate in Halloween?
Oh my gosh, of course I participated in Halloween.
You'd be
yes,
surprised.
I was. Yes. So for me, my aunt was an artist. She made me a costume one year. And this costume, although it wasn't horror-based, it was definitely a little on the creepier side. She made me a giant robot costume, but out of tinfoil and cardboard. And here's the memory I have, though. I couldn't fit in the station wagon with it on. And I was like, I have to wear it. I cannot not be wearing it the whole time. You know, obviously my mother was like, Becky, we can put it on every time we get out, when we get out of the car. And I was a very rational child, as you probably are not surprised, me being a librarian. And I was like, no, this costume is too perfect. So I have such a vivid memory of sitting in the 1980s station wagon in the back in that full costume, barely able to fit in the station wagon. It was great. It was like the greatest Halloween ever. Oh my God, I have the greatest pictures of them because so much so much gory makeup on my children going to because the school they don't allow masks, but they don't care about makeup.
Okay, so my kids can't wear masks. Okay. Can they look like, absolute
decaying flesh? Yeah. Yes. And both my kids did theater, so I had access to theater makeup as well.
Nice.
Well, that answers the favorite costume question. How about least favorite costume?
You know, one year my mom made me a little Bo Peep costume. I had lots of nightmares that were sort of just general anxiety, and it was actually so bad. I had they thought I was getting an ulcer. I had a nervous stomach because every time I ate, I wanted to throw up. And I don't know how they didn't figure out that not telling me what was happening was causing all this anxiety.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be a little nerve-wracking, especially when you're a child so young and you're going to places like oncology offices and seeing people talking through throat vibrators. Like, why am I here? What is going on?
And no one was telling me, right? And I was like, every couple weeks I had to go, and then I had to go to the hospital, whatever.
The fact that it actually fractured your skull means that was one hell of a kick. What the hell?
Yeah.
So I still have a very small scar, but my grandmother was very vain. And so she paid for a fancy plastic surgeon to fix it. So my parents were like, well, if you're going to pay for it, it's fine with me. Right? Everything else was covered by insurance because, you had a fractured skull, but the plastic surgeon. So, So the big thing about 10th grade which is something I really, really remember vividly. So we talked about Shirley Jackson all day. We read The Lottery, which, is one of those experiences that you can never replicate, right? You read The Lottery and you are forever changed. And if you aren't, then I don't know if I want to talk to you. Right? I mean, it's just one of the best short stories ever written. Mischief Night. Every year was marked off on our calendar. So the 30th of October. And I played 3 sports in high school, and soccer was then in the fall, and I was a starter and everything. So if there was a game on the 31st, I was tired.
Out of curiosity,
what was
the
And it didn't matter what day of the week it was, and our parents let us do it, no matter what day of the week it was, and they knew it was important to us, and they knew that we were good kids. So, and I think the mom of the girls, her name was Danielle, and she was a year below me. I think the mom told everybody on the block that it was going to happen. Looking back,
prepare your houses.
That just removes the fun from it.
I don't know that now. I know that now. I didn't know that then.
Oh, okay.
They kept it from us, but they were so willing to let us do all of this, right?
Park your cars in the garage.
And we did not do eggs. We literally did silly string and toilet paper. We were good kids. I finished the book in November of 2019, and the first thing I did was not text Stephen Graham Jones. I texted Paul Tremblay And I said, hey, just writing to you to tell you you're not going to have the book of the year this year. And I hadn't read Survivor Song yet. And he wrote back and he went, you just read The Only Good Indians, didn't you? And he said, I said, yeah. And he said, I'm in the middle of it. And I was like,
He's like, I agree.
And you will never be able to look at a ceiling fan the same way again. If you have a problem with animals dying, don't read this book. There are super bloody scenes, but it also has one of the most beautiful and hopeful endings of a book. And somehow basketball is involved and it doesn't feel like it was forced. It was just...
Have you ever seen this stuff?
Classic.
It's amazing, right?
It is. Even for like the time it was made, some of the special effects...
Ahead of its game.
It was. It's serious. I mean, the only thing I would say I've seen a common thing come up in some critiques of it is, who the finds some weird yogurt shit just, erupting out of the ground? It's like, I'm going to eat that. Like, that is my only criticism is no one eats ground yogurt. Come on.
Yeah. Ground yogurt. That is probably the best description I've ever heard. It's ground yogurt. Yeah. What's the stuff? It's ground yogurt.
That's the quality.
But do you remember the trailer? It was a PSA. Mm-hmm. It was totally this kind of fabricated warning for
don't eat the ground yogurt.
Yeah, don't eat the ground yogurt.
Because I just want to pause for a moment and say, you ever hear that phrase? Don't eat the yellow snow.
There you go.
I'm just imagining a Horror Makes Us Happy shirt on it now that says "Don't eat the ground yogurt."
Yes,
I would buy that shirt. I would wear that shirt happily. But no, isn't that the thing? It's like the stuff that actually lingers isn't the stuff that happens in the movie itself or the book itself. It's the stuff. It's the stuff that you take away and kind of make your own movies or tell your own stories with in your own imagination. I don't know, that's the lasting impact, the mileage that these stories get. There's just a moment where I have that mental hiccup of cracking open, a Yo play and just being stop.
Just stare at it for a second, you're not going to move, are you? Jeez.
Because Dad wanted to surprise me on Christmas Eve by sneaking down the chimney of our house and surprising me with Christmas presents. He slipped, tripped, fell, broke his neck, and got trapped in our chimney and has been stuck in our chimney for days now, smelling up the whole house. All that time we thought Dad had ran away with some other woman or something and just skipped town. But no, he's been here. He's been in our house, dead, broken neck, wearing a Santa Claus outfit. So you want to ask me why I hate Christmas so much? That's why. And it's that happens in a children's movie, a Joe Dante film.
I was going to say, what wasn't Gremlins a family movie?
Yeah. All of my writing is basically just trying to replicate the feeling of the Phoebe Cates monologue in Gremlins.
Okay. Well, it's a simple recipe. You've got, common setting, facade of family camaraderie, and then childhood icon destruction.
Yeah.
There you go. Just a pinch of childhood icon destruction. Also, a dash of dead parent.
Yeah. Just destroy children's destroy Christmas. I mean, it's so sadistic. It's I can see Joe Dante just laughing his ass off. It was written by Christopher Columbus, who went on to do Home Alone. Mm-hmm. But it's just this is what was so great about that period, because Steven Spielberg post E.T. was just given the freedom to just destroy children. That emblem, that logo. It's I remember there was another video store in our neighborhood that had the Tartan DVD, Tartan Extreme DVD collection. So it was Ringu, all the kind of J horror, K horror, that was just coming across the ocean. So Tale of Two Sisters, Ringu, Uzumaki. God, I saw Uzumaki in the movie theater. That was amazing.
Oh, you! That's awesome.
That was I loved it because it was
Sorry, my jealousy just reached level.
Well,
that happens.
I mean, seeing it on the big screen was gorgeous because it was like, wait a minute, did I just see something in the corner of the screen? Did that just like spiral? Did it swirl?
Mm-hmm.
It's silly, and I apologize, but like that idea of like using podcast interviews as therapy, but it is. How often do you get an opportunity to talk about yourself for this long? Oh my God. I pity the person who's listening to this. And I apologize that I've been this selfish, but
what's funny is like, I have often joked that part of the reason that I went into seeking professional help is because you can only have so many of these conversations with your friends before they either get sick of it, or you can only have so many of these conversations that don't involve alcohol, and at some point it's bad for your liver.
Yeah.
I never get tired of talking to you, Steve, and I never feel like I have to have alcohol to grease the wheels. Never. Not once.
He says as he takes a sip.
But that's none of my business.
Right. Sips tea.
The thing was a way of my projecting out into the world these fears that I had of what was going on in the household and the tensions, the internal stuff that I just didn't let out.
Right.
And I still remember the movie vividly. And when I watch it, I go back to that time in my life.
Was this like a recurring nightmare or dream, or like a sleep paralysis thing, like the person in the corner kind of deal?
All three, four, all five.
Okay. It's all of them, whatever number it is.
Exactly. This thing was, and what the brilliance of the movie was that it's not what you saw, but what you didn't see that was frightening. I think we've lost a lot of that in modern horror movies, but there are directors who work like that. And those are the ones that I admire the most.
Some of our guests have spoken of a dividing line where prior to this, they were afraid of horror, and after it, they learned to enjoy it or find some pleasure in it. Was there ever that kind of line for you?
I never went back to a horror movie after that until I was way in my adult life.
Okay.
Yeah. And even then, I'm an easy scare. I mean, you'll ask my wife, we'll be sitting and watching something that is not necessarily does not have a great horror component. But if there's a jump scare, she moves out of my vicinity because she knows.
Just get out of striking range.
Yeah, right. Oh, because she knows that I'm just going to start.
Well, that's a good thing.
I'm a major, easy scare.
So other than The Thing, any other media jump out to you as being, strong influence?
From my childhood, no, because I refused to go back.
Yeah, that was the line itself.
Yeah, I was going to watch a lot of musicals and a lot of happy movies. I was not going back to see her.
Several years long palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. As a grown up, my children, I have 3 kids who are now grown and have children. But my children were always disappointed in me because I didn't dress up during Halloween when I was a grown up. And they kept saying, "Daddy, why don't you dress up?"
You're like, I do this all day for work.
And, yeah, exactly. I say I do Halloween for a living.
Yes.
I don't have to.
Yeah.
Besides, this is your day to dress up.
Yes, exactly.
I chaperone.
But I know, we all know many, many adults for whom Halloween is a highlight of their year.
Present.
And actually, this is kind of what Mike was talking about too, is that I went into the basement and I just said, you know what? F this.
Exactly. You know
I'm going to stay here until it's gone.
Oh.
And I went down to the basement and I just stood there.
Faced your fears.
Yeah. And I had all sorts of, there was a lot of kind of memory coming at me, particularly of this event earlier in my life. And I just kept breathing and I just kept looking around and actually the dark became clearer. It became more knowable.
Yeah.
And once it's knowable, then it can be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And from that time onward, I had no more fear of the dark. And it's a sort of seminal moment in my life.
Good. What about Nosferatu or Dracula? Is there a particular scene that jumps out to you?
Just the character itself, just Nosferatu, just the existence of that character in every scene is so freaking creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And Klaus Kinski, I think, no, that's not Klaus Kinski. That's the later one. That's the Herzog Nosferatu, right?
I'll defer to Chris on that.
I think so.
But the original, whoever the original Nosferatu was so bloody. Just, I get a little frisson every time I think of it, actually. Yeah. I encourage everybody to explore their memory, because we leave behind so little that's of importance.
Yeah.
In the big picture. But we leave behind a lot in the micro picture when it comes to our families and the people we love and those who love us.
The ripples.
Yeah. The ripples. He's a gourmet cook. I just talked to a guy in Holland, in the Netherlands, who cooks with cannabis products.
Nice.
It's called high cuisine. He's a chef.
Appropriate.
Yeah, but it's brilliant, the stuff that he does. But he again talks about growing up and what it was like going into a McDonald's and throwing some magic mushrooms on a Big Mac. We all have stories, and I just I encourage your audience to follow your own, to go back and tell your kids about things that happened when you were young.
Yeah, make your own stories.
Yeah.
So come check us out over at horrormakeshappy.com, or check out some of our other excerpts until you find someone whose interview you do want to hear.